Shalom, Shalom, Yisrael. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching 100% truth. Wa Barakatham to the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. May peace and blessings be unto your households. It's your brother Gadal for the Great Millstone Dallas branch. And in this quick lesson, I'm just going to get into pretty much it's a fight. And pretty much ultimately just to continue to endure, man. Right? Continue to endure, continue to fight, because we know what scripture says in Matthew 24, how it says, he that endured to the end, the same must be saved. What does that endure means? Misfortunes, trials, shortcomings, tribulations, things of that matter. We'll go and get to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. It says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? So you're supposed to be enduring the hardness as a soldier, because we are in the Lord's army of Yahushua HaMashiach. So, matter of fact, let me get this. Sirach 2. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 2. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Right? So you have to get your mind right, or at least get your mind prepared. And basically constantly endure, man, because every day is going to be something. Right? The only thing is, the heat on the stove might be turned down a little bit on one of the days, but guess what? It's still going to be heat there. Right? So no matter what, man, you're going through something. You're going to have to deal with it either way, whether you're in the truth or not in the truth. Right? It's just in the truth, you're actually like doing it in the names of Yahweh Bashem Oshai, and it's actually worthwhile. So yes, you're going to suffer more because Satan wants you. But, outside of the truth, that doesn't change the fact that you're still under the curses. You're still going to be suffering. You're still going to have to deal with your tire being flat, your car breaking down, possibly losing your job. You're still going to have to deal with all these things, just maybe a little lesser, because now this is your consolation. So you'll get a little bit more of what you want. But you're gonna fulfill the wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter and realize how quickly you're gonna realize how much it was vain. Hell, King Solomon, man. He realized everything was vain. Everything that has nothing to do with Yahweh Shoshai, it's vain. And he had all the money, all the women, all the jewelry, he had it all. And he was saying, man, all this is vain, man. It's garbage in comparison to Yahweh Shoshai. I'm going to go ahead and get this. It's 2 Esdras chapter 7, verse 57. It says, then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. Right? That's the condition of the battle, man. You have to fight. Fighting Satan, right? Fighting these thoughts, fighting to, stay in the truth, fighting to keep the faith, fighting to keep your sanity through powers. And all this is through the power of Yahweh Bashem Shah, by the way. Not of our own strength, if you didn't already know. Just keeping in mind, man, like this whole thing is just fighting. That's what the Lord wants, man. You got to remember, we serve a God that is a man of war. The only one and true power, man, he's a man of war. So he loves to see his men fight. Right? Hell, Ephesians 6. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and get it real quick. Ephesians 6, 12. If I'm not mistaken, it should be 6:12. Yep. Matter of fact, I'll start to tell. So Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Right? Why you got to put on armor? Because you're in a fight, man. You're in a fight. And we need to be strong in Yahweh Bashem Rashah. Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burdens upon the Lord, and he shall not suffer the righteous beast move. He shall sustain thee. Roughly paraphrasing. And read verse 12. It says, "For we wrestle." Oh, okay. So are we wrestling? We toiling. Matter of fact, let me see what it says for wrestle. Let me see what it says. It's Strong's G 3823 Palais and wrestling, a contest between two in which each endeavors to throw the other, and which is decided when the victor is able to hold his opponent down with his hand upon his neck. Right? So we're fighting ultimately against Satan. Because our biggest, really against this flesh, man. Because our biggest enemies is ourselves. Right? We fighting the nature of this flesh, man. The things that you want to do is all due because of the flesh. So we fighting that, but Satan, he can use the flesh, use what you like against you to cater to your flesh. That's where he can get you at. But as long as you got Yahweh Bashem Rashah, you good. But it's not going to be easy though, right? It's not always easy to, even though we don't keep the Sabbath 100%, even with you trying, it's not always easy. You might wanted to go hoop or something. You might wanted to pop your woman, but it meant to be the Sabbath. These are things you have to deal with due to being in the flesh. But we'll go back. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Right? So we're not even really fighting. It's not like we're just in there like fighting like carnal to carnal. This is a spiritual battle, man. It's a spiritual battle, which is something that majority of people don't even realize. Only the ones that are in the know that serve Yahweh Bashem Rashah, they're the ones that are going to be in the know. Understand that everything is spiritual, man. Because Satan, he could put his hand on anything and anybody at any given moment. And you have to make a conscious decision. Hell, he can touch you. Right? And, that's why we have to be in the spirit as much as possible. We understand we can't be in the spirit 100% of the time. But you can still try to do as much as possible. Reading, watching videos, being around brothers. Biggest things you can do. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to go into, man. Just, understand that, man, it's a fight, man. We serve a Lord that is a man of war, and there's nothing more that he loves is to see his men fighting to continue to serve him. So if your life, seems to be getting harder or whatnot, guess what's expected? It's expected, man. That's what comes with serving Yahweh Bashem Rashah. It's part of the territory, man. You ain't finna eat at the Lord's table when you ain't go through nothing. Simple as that. But anyways, Lord willing, y'all was edified. I want to end it off by saying, Kal Halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. And until next time, I say, Shalom, Yeshua.